Afternoon Delight is back and as thrilled as ever to enrich your ears with some student radio. And as we all know, student radio is actually better than normal radio because... Oh, yep, gotta go. Enjoy the show.
This is Bournemouth Student Radio. Nerve.
And this is Afternoon Delight, the comedy chat show. I'm Simon Schneider.
I'm Tim Vivian Shaw.
And I'm John.
Okay, so tonight... Well, first of all, I think we should talk about how we're called Afternoon Delight.
Yeah.
And if anyone hasn't noticed, it's evening. So we might address that. We might just leave it there.
It's late night delight.
Oh, that actually sounds
nice.
a bit better, doesn't it?
Yeah, in a similar way to the kind of delights you get at Wiggles with Bournemouth.
Yeah, well observed.
Promoting local businesses.
I can't say we're going to give that kind of delight. I don't want to build up expectations now.
I certainly will.
I'd prefer our sort of format, though. I'd rather not be able to see Wiggles.
Yeah. What do you mean not be able to see Wiggles? So
just pay for the noises
inside Wiggles.
Pay for the noises.
It's like a big furry guy. Hello, welcome to Wiggles.
They're always like to do with the character, isn't it? Because like Brewster Bears, it's a bear.
Yep.
So Wiggles, it's just going to be a gigantic.
It's going to be Mr. Blobby.
That's a very naked woman with like a zippy mouth and like big googly eyes.
Come to geek. Okay, so start the show with the umbrella topic of the week, which it kind of has to be freshers. Woo!
Woo 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 woo.
Probably none of them are listening. They're all too busy having a good time.
Yeah.
Or not having a good time. It depends, you know.
I've not really met many. Like we've been out every night.
Yeah.
So we're like, you have to apologise. We are feeling a little under the weather at the moment. We have been out every night, and I've only met last night we met a middle-aged woman with a cleavage piercing.
Oh, she wasn't middle-aged. She was about 20.
Oh God. Oh dear. And then we met another woman with love and hate tattooed on her fingers. Definitely wasn't a fresher. And apart from that, we've met. Well, no, I've actually met a lot of people. I guess they've met me. I've not met.
I guess
them.
our only advice to freshers at the minute is there's some people you should look out for.
Come introduce yourself. You'll know who we are.
They'll recognise me.
Things we're doing today. We're going to play.
Are we allowed to talk about the things I've got up to?
Probably not.
Okay.
Unless we substitute a lot of the words.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. After we come back from a song break, I'll see if I can find a way to tiptoe on ice around the.
Yeah. But
I suppose the bun incident, the buns,
the bread.
Yeah, the bread.
Oh,
buns.
yeah.
Bread buns.
Yeah. What? You didn't need to substitute the word bread. There's nothing. There's nothing dangerous about bread.
It for a worse sounding.
There's one rule about radio: bread is safe. If in doubt, talk about bread.
Or just wheat products in general.
Yeah.
Today we're going to play Your Country, which is a new game I've kind of come up with. We're almost sort of like piloting it today. Goes well, we'll keep it. It goes not so well, we'll try and make it better.
It's a bit like Risk and D&D in a way, isn't it? It's kind of, it's all the worst bits of Risk and all the worst bits of D&D.
It'll be fun. It'll test.
Just putting pieces on a board for 2 hours then.
Oh no!
But as there's no board in D&D.
Oh, that was a right zinger. Let's go over to our zinger correspondents, Timo and Simon. Well, I think that was good. I think that John's clearly got a bit of experience in zingers.
Real hard-hitting correspondency there, Simon. You've clearly watched a lot of sport. Oh, that was good. That was a good goal.
To be fair, that is like about half of them.
Yeah. From my experience, and admittedly it's little.
Yeah, I was the wrong person to go to. I don't watch any sport whatsoever, so
I'm probably best off commentating on myself.
Yeah, okay. go ahead then.
Yeah, okay. Review yourself.
Thornton with a standard bit of arrogance there, knocking down his co-competitors on their commentating ability.
And some social barriers. Moving back on to our regular broadcasting. Okay, so we will also do Word Corner. We'll sort out who does that later. And there'll be a Return of Agony Aunt, where we take problems from the public that have been sent to us and we try and sort of...
Tweet in your problems if you have any.
And we, help people out. We give some advice and some wisdom. So, do we want to put on a song or go straight to Your Country?
Why don't you kind of explain the rules of how your country's going to work and give us our countries, and then we can go to a song and start the game afterwards.
That sounds cool. Okay, your country.
Okay, planning the show during the show.
That's nice. I like
What an
it.
excellent start to.
We do everything in an improvised kind of way. Okay, your country. The basic ethos of it is, I'm going to give you a whole country to run, and I'll tell you where it is. So I'll wedge it between two other countries.
So it's a made-up country. Then.
Yes, it doesn't exist. And then you're going to tell me what you want from it, what it does, why it's special, and what you aim to achieve as a country. And then in a D&D kind of way, I'm going to start presenting you problems, and you're going to have to organise yourselves like a government into overcoming them.
What is our main objective?
You decide it. I think it's cool if you decide it, because
Okay, I'm down with that. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
and in that case, maybe if people feel like tweeting, they can put in some examples of objectives, or maybe where I could put the country that Tim and John are going to run. Until then, we're going to play Kings of Leons.
Yep.
Cool. Super Soaker Kings of Leons. Do-do-do-do-do. Enjoy.
Boom.
Afternoon Delight is back with our newest feature, Your Country. John and Tim have got to sort of talk a bit about what they're going to do with their country, and now I'm going to sort of find out what that is.
Okay, I'll go first. I've not had much time to think about my country, but as we were talking about Wiggles before, literally the best place in Bournemouth. Fun for all the family. I'm going to name my country Poland, and my newly appointed Prime Minister is Crystal.
So you share a country, or are you
no,
immediately
that's
splitting it?
No. John has his own country.
Okay, so you're splitting the land I give you in half, essentially.
Yep. Yeah, we have two countries.
It was meant to be you shared a country, but if you want a civil sort of situation, you can do that too.
Oh, well, I'm happy to play the part of Crystal.
Well, you can be West Pole land, and I'll be East.
Okay, yeah.
We can erect a large.
Erect a large wall.
Yeah.
Okay, at this point,
as well as whatever else. Crystal
at this
decides
point, I'm going to
to
tell
erect.
you where you are, because that might change things. You're wedged in between North Island and South Island.
Okay.
So you're
Right. When? 'Cause
nowadays, modern
Okay,
times.
Okay, because it could have easily been during
Yes.
a more troubled time in Ireland's history, like the potato famine, or
Oh, you said Ireland. I thought you said island, and it
Oh,
was just
sorry.
a very unimaginative
Ve-
hint at
I'm
North and
sorry.
South.
Simon is literally the worst at imagining
You're-
things.
I thought you meant North and South Korea, but I don't think they're even islands.
No, not
No.
quite.
Korea's an island, but they're not individual islands.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
brought
there's
together
two.
as one landmass that's divided by political ideologies and different economic structures, and that's true.
That's North Korea. I mean, South Korea and North Korea.
That's a thing that is
So
true.
Korea. But back to Ireland, and more importantly, the space between North and South Ireland that you own. What's your goal? What do you want to do? How do you want to influence the world? Or what is your country's ultimate
Well,
challenge?
Would you like to go first, as I went?
We probably hate the English. we want as little to do with them as possible, I'd have thought.
As little to do with. So your goal is
We
to
want cut
avoid
off all-
England.
cut off all cultural ties with England.
If I'm correct, I'm West Pole land,
Yeah.
and we as a nation hate Eastern Pole land and Northern Ireland, but we are affiliated with Southern Ireland, Scotland, and Zimbabwe. And Eastern Poland.
You don't have to hate anyone. You can say if you hate them now.
This
but-
is just the set. This is just the way things are, Simon. Is there is more of is
It's in their blood.
Yeah, it's in our wiggling blood. Hates. Yeah, so Eastern Poland hates. What did I say? Southern Ireland likes Northern Ireland, hates Western Poland, hates the English, and hates also.
I hope the listeners have a pen and paper.
That's all right.
I'm just going to assume I hate everyone and go from there.
Okay,
Okay.
so what I'm
People
going to
can
do.
buy my love.
What I'm going to do is
override.
introduce a challenge that will, when it's my turn, I'll say something that affects both of you. And then, because you've divided and you're your own governments now, you'll both decide an action to take. And on that turn, you can also decide how to stick it to Tim or John.
Okay. Right.
that's
what
what
are
you
our
want.
goals then?
Well, what's your goal? John wants to kill the English or
Divide all ties.
divide all ties, rather.
Divide all. I don't get what.
I just don't want any English coming over.
Okay. Right. Crystal's main political agenda would be to more babes for babes.
Babes for babes.
Yep.
A bit more detail.
Nah, think about it, Simon.
We're going to need a bit more detail, otherwise it's not really a goal.
Crystal has had a really, really long night, and having to, of course, being in such a politically, culturally troubled area, she doesn't get much sleep, having to deal with terrorist attacks and cultural tension. She hasn't slept much.
So you're talking about babes kind of like they're a resource.
More babes for babes.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
So a country full of babes wants to increase their avenue of resource,
They want more babes.
which is babes.
Yeah.
Okay. So your challenge
Maybe
is
not planning on
almost.
taking any of my babes.
Oh,
I don't have enough to spare.
This will be what we explore.
I have one on a good day.
So you're going to almost try and take the babes or just all babelicious things from the rest of the world.
Yep, I'm going to follow through with Crystal's very poorly thought out plan.
Okay. Well, straight off the bat, you're both sitting around and you've been invited to the UN. Now,
Thanks.
how do you react? Do you guys want to be in part of the UN or not? Bear in mind, England's in the UN.
Yeah, I'll be in the UN, but to stir up trouble. I'd have thought West Poland probably wouldn't, seeing there's not many babes in the UN.
Well, that's the thing. Crystal happens to have a thing for Kofi Annan, but Crystal, being the party lady she is, can't remember if Kofi Annan is still heading the UN or not.
It's been a while since Crystal has been in politics.
So what Crystal's going to do right now is check if Kofi Annan is still in the UN and then come up with jokes around Kofi Annan.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's assume he is. He's still around.
I like to think of them as a duo, to be honest.
What, Crystal and Kofi?
No, Kofi and Anne.
Oh, God.
That wasn't. Yeah.
That would have been the perfect time for sports commentating
Zinger
on
report.
his zingers, but that we
Yeah,
let that ship sink, haven't we already?
Yeah, that one's already
The
flooded.
interesting thing about Kofi and Anne is kind of like Simon and Garfunkel. Those aren't actually their first names.
It's one person.
Yeah.
Kofi Annan is one person.
A duo.
Okay.
I
So
much prefer the duo of Crystal and Kofi. That to me,
clearly,
that's kind of like
there's
a
some aggravation at the borders here. Okay. So
How about your leaders are Kofi Annan, then there's Kofi Annan, and then there's Crystal and Kofi.
Which Kofi and Anne do I have?
You have Kofi and Ann.
Oh, okay, yeah, but
There's
yeah.
Kofi and Ann, then there's Crystal and Kofi.
So
And
these
Crystal also likes Kofi Annan, but she also has a sidekick called Kofi.
Okay.
So Crystal and Kofi Annan, and Kofi and Ann.
Okay. Brilliant. So are these your royal
One of the
families?
secrets of comedy is to just say Kofi and Anne a lot.
Yes, I really hope so too.
Are these your royal family or maybe your parliament or?
Oh no, these are the people that run the UN.
So do you, Tim? Can I just ask a question? Do you have like a sort of parliament or a prime minister? Is Crystal your prime minister or your advisor?
Crystal is our head of state. She's our prime minister. Yes.
Okay. Well, what about you, John? Just out of interest.
We've got a kingpin.
A kingpin. So is that a take on the royal on a sort of royal family?
It's pin.
Your country is ruled by an inanimate object.
We worship the pin.
Okay. So you're almost a religious sort of affair.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. In that case, in your country, John, someone actually claims to be the Messiah of the pin. So someone stood up and said, "That's me," and he's making a big deal of it. And you've got to decide, well, if you believe him or if this is actually someone being quite rude and almost offensive to your religion. And in your country, Tim, someone has just stolen Crystal's daughter and holding her for ransom.
Okay. Right. You're gonna have to give me a minute to see how I get Kofi and Anne, Kofi and Anne, and Crystal and Kofi. Oh, Crystal and Kofi are a detective duo, so I've already got a solid foundation. By solid, I mean like paper thin foundation. I built my castle on sand here, Simon, but I'm gonna do my best.
Can I ask how you're trying to get more babes into your country?
I don't know.
You might want to have that in consideration, because currently John's winning.
I don't know how John is winning, but I'm desperately scrolling through Kofi and Anne's
he hasn't
Wikipedia
had any
page.
contact with the English.
I haven't.
Except for new news. Apparently your Messiah
It's
is
fine.
actually British born.
It's fine. Crystal's daughter is pig ugly, and therefore we have one less ugly person, which ups our ratio of babes to ugly people in our country.
And that's a broadcast you let out. Okay. And were you or were you not part of the UN? You were.
We're mates with Kofi and Anne, not friends with Kofi and Anne, and we have someone working with us called Crystal and Kofi.
Okay, so you were.
What
And
might have been better would be if the daughter hadn't been pig ugly, but then at some point, to show you were serious, the kidnapper mutilated her.
oh,
But then there would be no need to go and get her anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
that solves my problem. Thank you very much, John.
okay, John, what did you do about your new Messiah?
He must take the walk of the pin.
Please elaborate.
You have to walk on lots and lots of pins.
Okay.
Is that it?
How
Do you have to
many?
do
They're
it-
really big pin.
Do you have to do it well? Do you have to do it in a certain
You
time?
have to not die.
Okay.
Bearing in mind, some of the pins are horizontal
He doesn't.
and held up.
Okay, he doesn't die. And
Yeah.
he's British.
Now we have a problem.
What?
Now we have a problem.
Yes.
Exactly. That's kind of the point.
Well,
You
having
can, you can just do what I did and just say words that sound similar until Simon moves back onto me.
Well, having completed the walk of a pin, he must now take a much harder test, and that's the swim of a pin.
Okay. Having sort of
Does it end with
realised,
the poop of the pin?
Depends how much he takes in, to be honest.
having realised the sort of rhythm of your country's challenges, the Messiah doesn't survive, and your country is once again sort of British free.
It's leaderless though. It has no. It has.
Yeah, it
has
doesn't have a
nothing-
leader. Well, it does. It does have you. You act as the government. You can
Yes,
instruct people.
but without a god figure. That it's a religious. We are getting into like political
Yeah.
ideologies here, but without a religious kind of figurehead. All
No,
of
they
those
have the
babes
pin.
that you did once have are starting to flock towards Western Poland.
we
Wait,
never had
I'll say,
babes.
Tim. I'll say what happens with the
worship a
babes and
pin.
stuff.
I may not know much about women, but like my mate, like, hey, I really like pins. Want to have sex with me? No. No. She turned me down. Did you tell
Okay.
her about your pin worship? Yeah.
I do have a slight counter argument to that, which is an anecdote we could say later, where John was like, women are sensible, they aren't going to fall for someone or fall for anyone who talks about pins. I have a counter argument to that.
Is it you shouting about swimming pools?
If
Yes.
it's convincing enough, go ahead.
Because I on the first night of Freshers, I met a lovely lady, and I managed to gain Fair Maiden's hand.
I hear the cracking
by-
of thin ice.
Yeah,
but continue.
but I basically we sparked up a romance, if you will, purely by me shouting at her repeatedly, "Où est la piscine?" which is where is at the swimming pool, and that worked. So I do not think it's beyond you having babes in your country that are obsessed with pins. There's no longer
But said babes will definitely not be pregnant.
okay, but they
Okay.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still come to Western Poland. Am I winning? Am I?
I think you'll win when you have all the babes. When you come up with an ingenious plan to increase your babe revenue
Okay, well,
tenfold.
I've got 5 more babes, and I've got rid of one ugly person. So
Yeah, but that wasn't your goal. You're essentially just dwindling your population.
okay, that's fine. But
I've been doing that for weeks.
yeah,
But Obama has quickly backed down over his plans to stop me as well.
Why is that?
No one else is interested.
Okay, so
I'm not really sure how I'm meant to win. I'm not really sure what Crystal
you
is
chose your challenge.
I think next time I would like you to pick my challenge because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, and neither does Crystal. Is literally sat in her war room with like a load of big red buttons, just saying nuclear, and then she's just going there, just slapping them at random.
Okay, something's happened for you, John. Actually, North Ireland wants some.
Northern Ireland. Also,
Northern Ireland.
I've been meaning to bring this up. South Ireland, have you been calling it? It's generally referred to as the Republic of Ireland.
True.
Or just Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Okay, Northern Ireland actually wants trade routes with the UK, and they need to go through you to get there.
Do they?
Yeah.
What kind of trade route is that?
Oh, just general stuff.
But
Okay, there's another
One
potato.
devised by Simon.
There's another potato famine, and UK has answered their aid and said, "You've got potatoes from us, but we can't get through."
They've only got potatoes in Plymouth, and so the quickest way is to just
Yes.
go directly north. Right. Well,
Now you could make an aggravation here that create.
I've got this one. Don't you worry. Because my mate, well, my mum, in fact.
What is your goal again? Are you
To
trying
avoid Britain.
Oh, to avoid them. I thought you were trying to wipe them out.
No.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
It might. No, I don't even. It's not really going to work as a joke. I call up my mates from Iceland. They're like, "Do you want to just give Northern Ireland some potatoes?" They're like, "Yeah, all right."
Do Iceland sell potatoes?
Probably like frozen chips.
Okay, well, he's done it.
He's called up some mates in Iceland. Well, they want something in return. They're not just going to go give potatoes.
Yeah, but they're scared of the wrath of a pin.
Okay. Well, actually,
Is Iceland also conveniently.
this aggravation, all this pin talk, has made everyone on the edge of their seat a bit. And Tim, this is an opportunity for you to even have a stab at John.
I've only had one thought. That Crystal's had one thought as to what she can do in this while this whole crisis has been going on, and that she's decided to form an alliance with North Ireland to form, because we sit underneath them between South Ireland and North Ireland.
Yeah.
We've now become South North Ireland.
South North Ireland.
Yes.
That's what you propose.
Yes, that's what we've now become. We've become Southern North Ireland.
Okay.
Yep.
And so now I'm just kind of like the jam in this island donut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite in the middle.
No.
A bit to one side.
So it's a sort of diplomatic takeover. You've given over your country to them, or
No, we're just sort of yes.
okay.
With new goals.
And what might those be?
Babes.
No,
More babes?
to not have the population completely wiped out for a minute.
For a
For
minute.
1 minute.
Challenge
Yes.
accepted.
Okay.
Unleash the pin.
In that case, part of the agreement you had with North Ireland to sort of merge your countries, actually, they want to go at war with Pinland. So I've forgotten the name of your country.
Was I west? No, I probably east.
You're now eastern. No, so I'm western, southern North Ireland. He's now eastern, northern South Ireland.
No.
Oh.
My name doesn't change just because yours does.
Oh, okay.
And all this sort of pin aggression has
Well,
made
not every country just is like just east or north of somewhere.
All
I know-
countries have to be named by their relation to every other country on the planet.
so southwest, east west, northwest. London is, or
London's not a country.
I know,
Simon. That's
I-
completely stupid.
yeah, I realised as I said it.
Japan is just like really, 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 really east of Mexico, or not that far west.
Regardless, the United Kingdom is grouped together as a whole, including Tim now, and actually they want to attack your country just because you've been acting far too aggressive.
We do not have to commit any ground troops or air force or anything like that for 5 minutes.
Why?
Because that was part of the agreement with Crystal. She may not be the best political or cultural leader, but when it comes to military action, Crystal knows exactly what she's doing because she's worked in Wiggles for 5 years.
Okay. Well, that's fine, but you need
Especially naval combat, because Crystal definitely knows her way around seamen.
Okay, brilliant. That was
Nice.
yeah. Zing. But they still want you to have some input on this.
Oh, we will. We will be providing apples.
Apples.
Apples for the troops.
Apples for troops. Yep.
Is that the kind of sort of media campaign you've got for this war?
Yep, I think
apples for the troops.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been about 45 seconds and none of my population have died.
Okay.
Oh no, it wasn't that. My aim was just not have my population completely wiped out.
Regardless.
Just got a text.
Yeah. You've got then I'd say about 30 seconds. So to just give you a chance to cut all ties with England, somehow complete that, whilst also stopping this.
If they've declared war,
Crystal
I probably have cut all those ties.
Crystal has found some more seamen to help back up the cause. I don't know.
Back up whose cause?
Our cause.
Okay, so against John.
We're even better defending that. I don't know where she found the seamen from. She won't tell
You're
me.
not defended. You're attacking.
But we're holding off troops for now. And
Defense is the best form of war.
Okay, brilliant.
Not fighting is the best form of fighting.
A strategist as ever, John. So you've got all of these troops and all of this aggravation on your borders. How do you react? How does worship of the pin counteract this?
Bearing in mind he's not real.
Well, I'm fully aware he's not real.
I'm
the voice of the pin. We all worship the pin. And I'm like, yeah, the pin says you need to do this. And
okay,
like,
I was just ruling out any chance of you having divine intervention and therefore claiming victory, because that's exactly what I'm going to do when we play this game next time.
Okay. And based on this last move, because
I
don't see it as a minute, I see it in terms of turns. This last move you've got, John, it's got to be a stonker.
I'll just go on holiday.
Okay.
I think I've won then.
I'll go off to Russia, hide in Moscow airport for a while. They'll keep me there.
So this is the big. Okay, fair enough.
And
you can't really win your country without a country.
If they've declared war on me, I have cut all ties with them. We're not still going to be having like a friendly every 2 years.
Yes, but
England's not declared war with you.
Yeah, no. The whole United Kingdom has joined against the pin emperor.
Oh, okay. Well,
messed up that deal.
Oh well, Crystal didn't do very well then.
I guess you're both winners.
Essentially, what's happened here is both our countries have just been invaded by England.
Yeah, but you did aggravate England quite a bit.
I didn't do anything to them.
No, you wouldn't
I didn't speak to them.
No. You were quite sort of.
I gave him a cold shoulder.
No, you were aggravating the rest of the United Kingdom with pinism. Okay, so I guess if I have to make a choice, I'd say you're both winners.
Oh, that's a roundabout way of saying we both lost.
Yeah, you could have done it in, I don't know, more impressive or creative ways. But then again, you took what you had and you ran with it. And you ran far.
We ran for 15 minutes.
Okay, we're going to stick on a song, and then people can expect. I've got a text of B News. That was the text that interrupted. I've got a text from Jack, so we might be able to do B News. We're also going to do Agony Aunt and Word Corner.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Who's up for, I don't know, Joe Compass, astronaut. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those 3 words.
Yep.
Play 'em.
Yep. Wicked. And we're back. This is Afternoon Delight. So time has literally ran away from. Well, no, it hasn't literally. That's silly. Time can't run. It doesn't have legs. Well, that's ridiculous. But time has passed, and we're going to whittle through some of the features that we promised. Jack Martin Jones, who unfortunately couldn't be here today.
He's the man in the field, as he says.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, Jack.
Jack Martin Jones, our man in the field, can't be here today because he's just preoccupied, and we wish family members meant he needs to be at home, and we wish them the best in their recovery and hope everything's well. And Jack tells us, this is B News, by the way.
Yep.
Your definite and honest and trustworthy news on bees. Honeybees know the world is round and can calculate angles. This is interpreted by learning the bee dance, where some can translate now. Remember to sponsor the Bee Association, and Jack's listening now.
Wait, so hang on.
Wait, I can't understand. Is bee news ones where you make up news about bees?
No,
or
that's
bees?
legitimate.
How do they know bees know the world is round?
I know that despite they have like a brain the size of a grain of salt. I know that like they don't. They're much like pigeons in a way. They don't navigate via sight and recognition of landscapes. They do it by angles. So they'll fly 20 degrees from north from the nest, and then they'll turn 45 degrees, and they'll know the distance that they travelled for and the angle at which they turned, and then they just reverse that to go back. So they do fly by angles. I don't understand the bit where it's like they dance to figure out the angles. That's the bit I don't understand.
I think the bee dance is how they sort of talk to each other.
There's bee language.
Yeah,
and therefore...
bee language helps them understand the world is circular because they use the angles to transverse it. That's how I understand it. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else? I've got some facts about bees.
I don't know if we have the time. I'm sorry. We've got to whittle through agony aunt, and we're going to do a quick fire agony aunt. And John has been so kind as to take Jack's place in it today. So straight off the bat, I've said that a lot today. Somersault Jane texts in, "Dear Jack or John, why haven't Mary-Kate and Ashley been in a film for a while? I loved Princess Diaries too."
I think they're just living off they're just living off the success of pizza at the moment.
Pizza Hut.
No,
Huh?
Pizza. Has anyone seen that video on YouTube?
No.
Oh dear, it is a video. You know that version of Jolene by Dolly Parton, which is slowed down. It sounds
Yeah.
like a really good man. It's kind of like that, but from a movie when they were like 4, and it's horrendous. Go and search it.
Oh,
Okay.
is that like the really weird acidy trip one? 'Cause
Yeah.
I have.
Fair enough.
I'm having a flashback now.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool guy Humphrey says, "I'm locked in my basement."
No, hang on. We didn't give. Oh, did we give an answer?
Yeah.
I gave a reason.
Yeah, they're
I haven't
making
solved
this
it.
is
It's not really
this is
agony, though.
quick
They're
fire. This
asking
is
surely agony aunts are like helping. How is that person afflicted by the lack of Mary-Kate and Ashley in her life?
I don't
Okay.
know, but they were, and John has given them the pizza
All right,
video.
don't be
Okay.
afflicted by it.
Cool guy Humphrey. "I'm locked in my basement with only this laptop on 1% battery. Help me, John."
What's his basement like? Ask him that.
can't text back.
Please text back in.
Okay, that's your
Send me
answer.
Considerably more details. Using up your battery, and I'll get back to you.
Your answer, Humphrey, is we need more details to be able to help you. Best pet fish.
Or just learn to like where you live. It's the whole property thing where it's like, oh, my house isn't worth as much as I paid for it. I've got negative equity. Well, why don't you just live in your house? Why don't you just learn to like that basement? What was it, Bradley?
Cool guy Humphrey.
Cool. There is no, and secondly, there are no cool guys called Humphrey. That is why you live in a basement.
Best pet fish. John, what's your favourite kind of jam? I need a lengthy description. Why? Also.
My favourite type of jam would be peanut butter and jam.
Okay.
That's not.
That's a jam. You put them together and then it's a jam. Or makes it a jam. Unless you
So it's the fact that you can create peanut butter jam that makes it your favourite jam.
That's not what makes it a jam. A jam is a preserve.
I thought preserves and jams were two separate things. What's the difference between why is marmalade not just orange jam?
I don't know that.
That's my.
Yeah. What was their name?
Best pet fish.
You want us to answer your question? How about you tell us why marmalade is marmalade and jam is jam, and why savoury ones are chutneys?
I hope that helps you. We've got 2 minutes left, so we're going to rattle through these
You get
ones.
like plum chutney.
Yum
and stuff.
Kit Kats.
I know.
Yum Kit Kats texts in. My grandkids have convinced me to try this silly internet thing. Where am I and how did I get here?
Yes, Kit Kats are
7.
yum.
Okay, 7. Brilliant. Morbidly intrigued. John, if you were forced to kill one of your fellow hosts, who would you kill and why?
But, I reckon Tim would taste nicer.
Okay, cool. Beyonce official. Actual Beyonce here, lads. What's your favourite of my songs?
All the single ladies. All the single ladies.
Mine is Why Don't You Love Me?
Okay, confused buyer.
Simon.
What?
Why don't you love me?
Confused buyer. I need your advice, John. I just moved into a house and in the basement is a human skeleton clutched to a laptop. What do I do?
Is it Tim? I reckon he tastes quite nice.
Okay, brilliant. And that wraps up Agony on.
Could I close?
Yeah.
Could I close the show?
Yeah, go
thanks
for it.
Thanks for listening to Late Night Delight. Go to Wiggles, and if you're called Humphrey, you lock yourself in a basement and never come out again.
We're just kidding. Humphrey's out there. You know our love is with you. I'm going to put on our last song of the night, which will be
Is it your
Hold
new
Me,
jam
Tom
or
O'Deal.
Preserve?
Hold Me, Tom O'Deal. Yeah.
I certainly shan't be holding any Humphreys.
Okay, brilliant. Goodbye, everyone.
euphemism.
We enjoyed your
Yep.
company. Ta-ra.
Bye bye.
And that episode was just for you, indiscriminate fan. We like you the most, and keep listening. Ta-ra!